and Twitch too. Oh, come on, phone. You can do better than that. Hello. We're live on Twitch and YouTube. Well, this hotel room is not nearly as cool as the one in Richmond, so I'm now going to be doing a tour. There is not much room to a tour to begin with. Supposedly Charleston is a cooler place than Richmond, though, so maybe that'll be a redeeming factor. While in Richmond, there was quite very little to do. Yeah, Mama's special deals do have a limit, although there is a huge pool here, and we have figured out which beach we want to go to and stuff like that. Hi, Peter. Hi, Pork Chop. Good to see you guys. Also, since I did not say this on my normal account yet, hi Sherry. I linked a new platform in my link in bio. It's called LTK, and I can link things in there that you guys ask me about on lives. Like, let's say if someone's like, oh, where's this sweater from? I'll go and I'll put it in there and I'll link it for you, and so you can directly shop it from like the source. So instead of me saying like, oh, I got it on Amazon, it's called blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. You can just go there and you can just, you can click on the link and it'll directly bring you there, which I think is really cool. So if you ever ask me about anything, where I got it from or something like that, you can find it right there. Yes, I am going to Hyprexis. I am going to check out the Ukrainian bakery that somebody mentioned, because first of all, when I looked it up on Google, it had a bunch of candy that I like, literally in the first snap. So yes to that. We did call them. They have Kyiv cake there, so I'm going to get that for my birthday. And we're going to drive it to Harrisonburg, Virginia, which is where John is going to be on the 8th. Like normal, John had messaged me about a couple of days ago and was like, so is there anything you want for your birthday that you haven't gotten yet? And what is it? And I was like, I will get back to you. And hi, Juju. And then I texted him today and I was like, so what's the budget that you're thinking? And he gave me the budget, and it was literally like perfectly lined up with what I had wanted. So I'm getting a new pair of chunky sneakers from John, and he was like so funny. He's like, I'm gonna send them home or somewhere else, ? And I'm like, where else are you gonna send them? The delivery time is about a week. So yes, please send them home. And he asked me what I was gonna do for my birthday in terms of like restaurants and stuff, and I was like, well, I am going to go to see you on the 8th. So we're all gonna do a dinner together. So there is that. And in terms of Bevza earrings, well, I don't know yet. First of all, it takes a while to ship. Second of all, I think maybe they'll have a sale at some point or something like that, because the sneakers that I found are on sale, and normally they're much more expensive than that. Heroim Slava. And my white sneakers that I wear every day are kaput, so I really do need white sneakers, and I can't wear I don't buy like Nike sneakers or anything like that for every day. I buy them for running because they're everyday shoes, like Nike, Adidas. They're kind of like me. And hi Natlin. Oh my gosh, I saw that train on Aravosa's live today. That was so cool. I don't go to Aravosa's for that, but I feel like I see the coolest animations on Aravosas's thing and on Xena's. So I always discover very cool new things there. But But yeah, so basically I need new white sneakers because I wear them daily and mine are like dead, and I need them to have leather insides because otherwise my feet die, and those are not cheap. And I found the ones that I like on gigantic sale, so that is what I'm getting from John for my birthday. I'm getting peace for my feet for my birthday, which is a weird thing to say, but I already said it, so it is what it is. But yeah. And we got a Charleston, and so far it looks much nicer than Virginia. Oh, thank you, Kath. It looks much nicer than Virginia. Oh, right. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That got delayed. Oh my god, Natlin, thank you so much. That's so pretty. That's so cool. I think hi Bobby. I think my internet is pretty slow here, so I get your comments a little delayed. Now I'm in your boat, guys. And you might hear me delayed because hotel Wi-Fi. We love hotel Wi-Fi, don't we? Thank you so much, Kath. Yeah, I do live in the States. I've been living here for 11 years. My mom just came to visit me from Ukraine. Both my parents live in Ukraine, and my mom was able to travel here for a couple of weeks. So we went on a road trip. But yeah, Charleston so far looks much nicer than Richmond did. There are lots of palm trees. There was a fountain at the entrance to the city. So thank you, Kath. You're very kind. There was a fountain at the entrance to the city. There are palm trees. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Grumpy. And yeah, so it's already a good start. Cindy had already found a dog in the neighboring room, and the dog barks and thank you so much. And Cindy was like, ears up. What brought me to the States is I came here to study. I went to boarding school here, then I went to college. Then I got permission to work. No, we just started, Nicole. We got permission to work. I got a permission to work. Then I got married, and then I ended up staying. So, and my husband is not with us on the trip because he's currently on a work tour around America and Canada, around the United States and Canada, and he's not going to be back until end of September. But we are going to see him on the 8th for dinner because he's going to be in Virginia, and we can come see him and we can do dinner all together. Also, Charleston, yes, I heard that there are brick streets. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. That's so pretty. I love the aquatic things. Oh, you have a lot of Ukrainians in Norway. That's cool. I would never think so. How are they adjusting to the climate? I feel like Norway in the winter is pretty cold. So I heard that Charleston has cobblestone roads, and that is literally Lviv. Oh, mom, тут в центрі міста бруківка, Lvivshka. My mom looks so happy. She loves cobblestones. Is my husband Ukrainian? No, my husband is half Brazilian, a quarter Japanese, and a quarter mix of whiteness, as he says. I think it's like mostly a mix of Irish and some little bits from everywhere else, but he says it's a mix of whiteness, and I mean, he's not really wrong. I don't have kids. I do have a French bulldog that is pretty much a child. So yeah, that's our kid. We have a Frenchie, and доброго вечора, Україна. Приємно, дуже приємно. Thank you, Kath. A picture of my husband? Sure. I feel like he hates though. He hates the whole like internet thing. Oh my gosh, wait, it moves. Ooh, mom, ты чула? Oh my god, the thing is, so when somebody sends me a gift right now, it gets delayed to me. So I was just like, oh, it's a cute little like small thing. It's so pretty. And then, and then it appeared and it started like, and it started playing music. That was so cute. So yeah. But yeah, I will show you John. He hates the fact that our life is on the internet now, but this is us when on the day that we got married. Yeah, that was really cool, wasn't it? So, доброго вечора. So that's John. That's me. I feel like I have better photos of John. There are tons of pictures of John in Ukraine. My phone, for some reason, has like 3 different compilations of him. Yeah, well, we are pretty private because, like, first of all, he did not sign up for this. Like, I signed up for this. I posted a video, and a lot of people started asking questions about Ukraine because it was right when the invasion started. And so I basically sort of put myself out there on the internet without really realizing that that was going to happen because it wasn't deliberate. I just sort of like posted a video explaining why I got tired of hearing from people asking me, rather, I got tired of people asking me questions of why this conflict can't be solved diplomatically. And I posted like a video rant from like a political and historical point of view, and it like blew up, and people started asking the question, a lot of questions, which is understandable because nobody had known anything about Ukraine at the time. And so I started answering them, and then I started going live, and like, because my parents are in Ukraine, up until they would wake up and tell me that they're awake and fine, I couldn't go to sleep, so I would do like these late night lives and stuff. And so I got myself into it, and he didn't necessarily sign up for it. And like, the thing is, he's a very private person. Like, you won't find a single picture of him on his Instagram. I have maybe like 5 with him on mine. And he posts photos of like other people because he's a photographer also, and so he really doesn't like being like out there online. Thank you, Natlin. Oh my gosh, they still don't have a French bulldog. They still have corgis, and I'm just like, come on now. Cindy deserves a Cindy emoji or a Cindy animation. But yeah, so he's like very supportive of me doing this. He's just like incredibly uncomfortable when I ask him to go on, because like some of you guys know, some of you guys know and have seen him and ask about him, and he like is very grateful that people think about him, but he's also like, I really don't want to be live. He's like, I'm really not happy about this. Happy for you, happy for Ukraine, I'm glad to support, I will go volunteer with you, I don't want to be on camera though. So yeah, so he is not too keen on it. But stranger danger for John, yeah, he's not a fan. But we met in college. We met in a French class in college in either second semester freshman year or first semester. Oh my god, thank you so much. The hot air balloons are so beautiful. They're my favorite. I love those. Like, for those of you who don't know, I have a hot air balloon here, and it's my favorite tattoo, and my aunt Anastasia drew it for me. Nicole on YouTube says, we've never seen your husband, so we were starting to think he's imaginary. He is very real. He has photos with my mom, if that's of any help as well. But yeah, but so we met in a French class. We met like pretty early on in college. We were best friends for a very long time. And we were kind of like dating a little on and off. And then yeah, life happened, and now it is what it is, and we're best friends and married, which sometimes is very strange. I've seen him once in 4 months of these lives. Yeah, well, because, you know, we really don't like the public thing. We've also we've had proof of life. Yeah, he's also on. We don't have kids. We have a dog, and it's probably gonna stay like that. I don't want children, but he's like. On my Patreon, though, I have 2 videos that I shared with him, 2 lives that he was present on, and we were answering questions. The thing is that we're just very I don't know. I never liked people putting their private life in public. I really don't like seeing couples post a ton of kissy pictures and everything. It's I feel like you gotta enjoy your private life privately, and yeah, I like sharing, good moments of my life. Good moments of my life with you guys, because at this point, it's a tight knit community and I trust you and I feel like we're all friends. But at the same time, I wouldn't post I don't know. I never posted hi Kadra. I never posted photos with my boyfriends, with my husband at any point in my life. It's just not my thing. I don't know. I'm very private about that stuff. Yeah, and also John doesn't really being public. But let me show you my dog. I don't have to show you a picture. I can show you the dog. She's here. See? Yulia. Come here. Ну ничего. Синюра. Добрый вечер. Hello. We're not in Florida, though. We're in South Carolina. So Florida is not treating us in any way because we're not there. Bujuba. Bujuba. Yeah, she's a little grumpkin. She's tired. She's a tired little grumpkin. Grumpkin slept. Oh, sure. Grumpkin slept all day today in the car and is somehow still tired. Grumpkin. Grumpkin. Sure. Grumpkin. Grumpkin. Sure, that's right. Hi, Gap. Yes, Cindy is the queen. She did have exercise. She was walking around on the grass at every place where we stopped. She did run around with my mom a little bit. Now they went for a walk. Okay, see. Okay, come on. Okay, come on. Okay, Cindy wants rest. Oh my gosh, you can see her little. I will move out of the way, and so you can see her a little bit just chilling on the bed and kind of being you know what? I don't know why you're over here using me, but Mama, а куди ти забрав собаку? My mom just came up, picked up Cindy, and put her on her bed, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she also, my mom needs Cindy to like her more. Okay. The other day, we went to a pet store, and we got Cindy some treats and a toy. And so I was going back to the hotel, and my mom is like, "Wait. Just don't give her any of this stuff without me. I want to give her the stuff." And I'm like, okay. And then my mom today, so we have 2 beds in this hotel room, and the other one we had 1 king bed. And so we get on the beds, and my mom goes I wonder, who's she gonna sleep with? And I'm like, well, if you put her on your bed and kidnap her, I wonder who she's gonna sleep with. It's like, I wonder who she's gonna sleep with. Does she have a choice? Does she have a choice, Mom? Vasily is at home. He decided that he wanted to stay in New York and work on getting jobs and doing job interviews and stuff like that. We might have some good news, but we will see. He's trying to get his life in order, and I mean, I think that he could have done that from here too, but also at the same time, I think he would be stressing and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, we might go on a trip together at some point in September. Like, I really want to go to Savannah. So thank you, Dan. Hi, Dan. I really want to go to Savannah at some point because I've heard so many good things about Savannah. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Kath. Those lights are so pretty too. I really want to get lights like that. Well, like one day, if I have a terrace or like a patio or a garden or something like that, a patio. Sorry, a patio. I want to have like little string lights. I was in when we were in Richmond, there was one place that was like really beautiful. It was this hotel called Quirk or something like that, and it had like a cafe, a little store, a gallery attached to it, patio, okay, patio. Yes, I really want to go to Georgia, the country, as well. Thank you, Melissa. Mama does not speak English very well. Mama understands English very well, though. Mama speaks English decently. It's just that Mama, when I'm around, feels like she don't need to speak English because why? Okay. Second, what? You know all of this. You're looking like this because you know I'm right. You have that like little facial expression because you know I'm right. Anyways.
Little speak.
Huh? Little what?
Yeah, little speak.
No, I know you speak a little. No, I say that you don't want to speak because I'm around. Because why? Why напрягаться? Why overexert herself? She has a little translator. No, I know. That's exactly what I'm saying. It's just that you don't want to try and вижити в ситуації, в якій в тебе дитина збоку, because you don't need to.
Коли дитина збоку, мені напрягатися.
But so what I was trying to say is that when we were in Richmond, there was this hotel, and so I took a picture. I took a picture of their backyard, and they had those like white string lights. I don't know if you see them, and they are really pretty. And so I would want something like that in the backyard or a patio or something like that at some point because I love string lights. They look so cute. But yeah, Richmond was weird. Do I have siblings? I do not. Thank you, Kath. The fairy lights. Yeah, thank you so much. I don't have siblings. I have an aunt who is my mom's sister, but well, I don't have a patio. I live in New York City. I have a fire escape, and from the looks of it and from the rustiness of it, I would not want to go there. But my mom has a sister, and they have a 19-year difference, while we have a 9-year difference. So, or an 8-year difference, something like that. And so we grew up a lot like sisters. So Anastasia is like a sister to me. Anastasia is also responsible for designing the Ukrainian American spy logo. But also there is this amazing illustrator, like a professional illustrator, and he is one of my followers and one of our community. And I had reached out to him to see if he would design a new Ukrainian American spy logo, and he will. And I'm so excited because his portraits are amazing. They're so beautiful, and he had sent me a lot of samples of his work, and I am so excited to see how it's going to come out. It's going to be an illustration of my face in like a trench coat, and I'm going to look like a spy, like a spy. I don't know if that's particularly the facial expression we're gonna go with, but something along those lines. Hi Dakota, good to see you. So yeah. But yeah, so far it's been really nice to get out of the city. Also, road trips are incredibly, incredibly relaxing for me. I love, 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 love road trips. This is something we used to do as a family all the time when I was younger. So it's like I feel very safe on road trips. Hi, Smiley, thank you so much. I feel very safe on road trips. I feel it's like my safe space. You know, driving a car is my safe space, especially like long distance. And I get really, really sad when road trips end because I'm like, hi Diane, good to see you. Hi, oh my gosh, hello. You're not on YouTube today. Yeah, my mom drives, but I actually love I love driving. I love driving on the highway so much. Did you travel to other countries? Well, we didn't travel around Ukraine that much, actually. We traveled like 2 other countries. We would go to Poland and then to Italy and then to Germany. And then it's like, it's super, because it's very easy to go to Europe in.
Я подивилася машинку для нашого ЗСУ.
Що?
Я подивилася машинку для нашого ЗСУ.
Тобто?
Чи
Машину для ЗСУ?
ЗСУ.
ЗСУ, окей, GMC. Ага, де ти її знайшла?
Дуже Макс. Так, в кінці.
Ага,
Дуже Макс.
ага, окей. Would you ever do a road trip in Ukraine if you have the chance? Yes, I do really want to do a road trip in Ukraine, and I wish that we did more road trips in Ukraine. Like, I've been to places in Ukraine, and I've gone to castles in Ukraine, and it's not like I haven't traveled around Ukraine, but it's like we did used to go on a lot of road trips to Europe because it's like easy access. Yeah, that'd be cool. Most often road trip to before the war everywhere. Really, I mean Poland. Poland is very easily accessible and it's close. A lot of people in Western Ukraine. Героям слава. A lot of people in Western Ukraine used to road trip to. So the question on TikTok is for those of you who are on YouTube, where did people from Ukraine most often road trip to before the war? So I want to say probably Poland because it's very close. But normally, what we do as Ukrainians, is we will like go to Poland, hang out there with friends that we inevitably have there, and then from Poland we'll go somewhere else, and then we'll come back home. Yeah, people from Ukraine do go to Poland often because we have a lot of friends in Poland. Like inevitably someone has like a Polish friend or like a relative or something like that. So yeah. So we do go to Poland often. Also, before Ukraine became a much more progressive country, we used to, like my mom and I used to go to like shop at Sephora in Poland, and we used to like cross the border for like a day and literally go like get some, I don't know, Polish candy and some like European stuff that Ukraine didn't have, but that was a long time ago. I don't get car sick. How did I get hooked up with Aravosis? So I've been watching his lives for a long time. Then he commented, I was trying to reach out to him in one of his lives, and I was told to email him because he was talking about something and I had something to say, I guess. And I was trying to reach out his live and I was told to email him. Then, like a day later or something like that, he had come across my video about armed forces, about Azov. Hi. Yeah, I'm always there. I'm a moderator in John's live. Oh, Katowice. That's cool. And basically, he saw my video about Azov and he commented on it and followed me. And I was like, hello. And so I messaged him and I was like, hi, I was just like in your live the other day and I wanted to say this and that, like, good to meet you. And so we started chatting, we got along really well. And we became friends. So yeah, I really love John Aravosis. I'm very thankful to him for everything he does for Ukraine. I'm really glad that he has taken it upon himself to like research everything and to like deliver the news every day, even though he does not have a single connection to Ukraine. It's really sweet that he has Vlad. It's really great that he raises so much money for Ukraine and that he does all of these like great fundraisers and really good things. And yeah, and he is awesome. And yeah, he's just like he's great. I'm very happy that I know him, and he's a really really good. First of all, I really like him as a person. I think that like I understand his humor very well, and I think he understands mine. So I think that we like get along in general, and also I really do appreciate him as like a reporter. I guess we're all reporters at this point, kind of, sort of, not professionally, but to a degree, right? So yeah, he's great. I have all good things to say about him. He's awesome. So that's how I met Aravosis. Yeah, he's good. He's just like very genuine. He seems very genuine, you know? I met my husband in college. We met in a French class. There is a live where I talk about it. It's saved on YouTube. One of the lives is in one of the lives. I've definitely talked about it. I don't remember which one, but I've repeated it so many times. Please don't make me do it again. I met him in college. No, I don't live in Florida. I'm from New York City. I don't even know how Florida came up here. Like, maybe because I was considering going on vacation to Florida with my mom until we decided to go somewhere neither one of us has been. So, so we're not in Florida. We are in Charleston. But no, I have nothing to do with Florida. I live in New York. The whole East Coast is interconnected, kinda, yeah. Yeah, oh my gosh, the amnesty situation. I've posted a couple of videos on it today. I am so not even disappointed, I am enraged. I am enraged at that report. Yes, I've been to DC numerous times, and I actually want to go and I want to say hi to Aravosis, and I hope to like get coffee with him or something, because it'd be great. But I'm enraged because it is very clear that they must have gotten a ton of money from Russia to post that article, because that article will ruin all of their credibility. And in my analysis, I understand that they knew that most people are not going to believe this because most people know the truth. However, the aim of this article was to cast doubt and raise questions among people who don't know the situation very well. And even those who do, sometimes, like, whoa, Amnesty International published it. They're an accredited publication. They wouldn't publish it just because. So it was aiming to cast doubt, to raise eyebrows, and to raise questions. And it did succeed in that. And it was also aiming to free Russia of responsibility for so many civilian casualties and targeting civilians as heavily as they did, because, like, well, there could have been military bases there, right? So it is a really, really damaging article, and it did do its job, because the job was mostly to cast doubt, and also, hi, UA USA, дуже приємно, що ще одна львів'янка. The tankies go crazy on Instagram today. I think your live gives me some sanity. Yeah, there are a lot of commies acting out today. But at least, like, I looked at Twitter after James mentioned it, and it looks like Amnesty is getting annihilated on Twitter, like completely annihilated. it looks like Amnesty is getting completely annihilated on Twitter because most people know that it's bullcrap. And so it looks really, so it just looks really bad on them. Like they've tainted their reputation forever. I hope the money from Russia was worth it, honestly, because like no journalists are going to want to deal with them. Reputable journalists, no like reputable publications are going to want to cite them as a source. Because it's not just like, oh, we made a mistake, right? It's like, no. We wrote a piece about it. It's not like they made a mistake on something. A tanky is a commie. And tanky is like a person who romanticizes communism and like especially USSR in most cases. Kathleen, it's an Amnesty International article about Ukraine supposedly using saying that Ukraine was using schools and hospitals and other civilian infrastructure for military bases, and that's why Russia was striking at them, that Ukraine is committing war crimes. And the reasoning they gave for saying that was that they've analyzed Russian airstrikes onto Kharkiv, Donetsk, and like others in Mykolaiv. And those airstrikes tend to all be onto schools and hospitals, and therefore Ukraine must have military bases there, because Russia wouldn't just strike civilian facilities. Even though the whole world has been seeing that, and we've been saying that since day one of the invasion, that like they are committing massive war crimes because they're targeting specifically civilian infrastructure. But it's very sad because like there's some calls for the CEO to be fired now, not sure how likely it is, says James on YouTube. Yeah, I would say that he probably should be fired for that, because it's not even like, again, it wasn't like an article where they're like, oh, we credited the wrong source, or we said something wrong, or like, oh, we misunderstood something. Like, no, they did not misunderstand anything. It was a whole huge think piece, right? So they were spreading propaganda deliberately. No, birthday is on the 7th, but I am excited. And hi, 8 Life. Yeah, Agnes. Yeah. Agnes, I just saw that thing. I just saw Agnes Calamard. A lot of places don't take accountability for their own, so he might stay. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, screw them. Honestly, they've tainted their reputation for a very long time. No one's going to listen to them. No one's going to take them seriously. Because, well, it's very clear that, first of all, it's funny to me that they're trying to say that, because satellite imagery can literally prove them wrong, and did. Also, the United States is giving us weapons, and the United States is giving us weapons on conditions. If we were to commit, oh my gosh, what is that? That's so cool. That's like a beaver version of Cindy. all of the cute animals look to me like Cindy. Oh, really, Kath? That's so cool. Well, happy birthday to my birthday sister. Yeah, there are a lot of August babies, I've noticed. Well, that's because, December. We were conceived in December. Cold, lonely. Anyways, but so what I was saying is that they've tainted their reputation forever. And also, the United States is giving us weapons, and they're giving us weapons on conditions. Because basically, if we were committing war crimes, they would cut off the supply, and they would completely like shut us down. And the US monitors our every move. we wouldn't be able to commit war crimes. First of all, we are in such a public eye in terms of what we do, because everyone is like, oh, Ukraine wants to strike Russia, Ukraine wants to do this, well, we just want Russians off our land, that we couldn't commit a war crime even if we wanted to. First of all, we don't, because for us the support is much more important, and also we are like good people. We treat Russian prisoners of war with respect. We give them food and new clothes, and like they live in basically like a dorm rather than like a prison. They get to call their families. We do not torture them, even though they have killed and tortured ours. So we are decent people. And we literally would not have an ability to commit a war crime even if we wanted to. There is satellite imagery that shows military bases. There is it's so easy to prove. The whole joke of this war is that Russia keeps lying about airstrikes as if they don't know that satellites prove and see everything. It's so stupid. I can't, like, I have no words, honestly. Yeah. Wait. Also, wait, I missed a comment. It's insane how much Russia is claiming that we harm our own. Yeah, well, Russia is like, I saw your TikTok video about my brother. So he's not my brother. It says it in the caption. He's an 18-year-old boy that I've taken under my wing. He's Ukrainian. We joked that he's my little brother. But yeah, his name is Vasil, and he is a Ukrainian boy who's 18, who moved here now almost a month ago. Can you believe that? But yeah. So yeah, he is my adopted little brother. But you know, hi Australia. It is what it is always. Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. But hi Australia. Really good to see you here, and thank you for the Bachmeisters or Bushmeisters. Bachmeisters. Time flies when you're having fun. That's true. Hi, Crazy Cat. Russia says it's destroyed 48 HIMARS now, yet we know it's actually 0 destroyed. Yeah, Russia keeps saying they destroyed 48 HIMARS. I think we have 20 in total. Like, isn't that the first? Isn't that like Bushmasters? Okay. Well, see, I was like a little bit Deutsch about it. Buchmeister. It's probably because I've been reading so many news about Schroeder today that that freaking Russian simp, him and Putin need to get married in Ukraine because, you know, in Russia it's not allowed. Yeah, Ukraine got 20. Ukraine got 20, and not all of them are even delivered yet. So I don't know how Russia destroyed 48 of our HIMARS, but yeah. I am going live on my birthday, yes. Of course, I will be delivering the news, always. I am going to be doing the news. Yeah, oh my god. The vid with Russia claimed the destroying HIMARS in the second floor of an office building. Yeah. Praxis arimatus rusus con coco ucraniano. Status robots. What does that mean? Sorry. Hi, Walasi. So they use Russian strike data as evidence because Russia wouldn't target civilians while completely ignoring that they raped and pillaged their way through every area they've entered. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. I have no idea what they were thinking when they were writing that article. I have no idea how much money they got paid. It must have been genuinely like a lot because oh, man knows how to spell. Sorry, there is a person here who came in and says, "Woman talking about war in Ukraine." Such a surprise, right? Women can speak, women can read, women can talk, women can deliver information. We know history. You know what surprises me more though? A man who knows how to spell Ukraine, let alone spell in general. Oh, wow. Hi, Antique. Hi, Antique Steve. So weird. Because men normally don't know how to spell, especially American men. But yeah, so I don't think, I think Amnesty honestly just makes, they like took money because nobody would be tainting their reputation so much for nothing. Because like they're not stupid, they know it's garbage, right? They released that article on purpose, like that they were paid to release that article because again, a news publication like that has all of the resources to know that that wasn't true. And they were a pretty credible source with a couple of like mashups here and there, but it does look like they just got paid and chose to take money rather than report on the actual truth. So yeah. But yes. Мамо, можна я тебе прошу зробити мені цю штуку?
З якою водою?
З звичайною в холодильнику. Холодно. Дякую. Sorry, I didn't want to get off the computer and get off the live and make myself this like water electrolyte thing that I drink. So I asked if my mom could. І там є оці от нові, які я купила. Десь поставили. Бачиш? Так. Одну таку. Ні, вони різні. Одну таку, одну таку. Of Ukrainian last names? What do you mean? I mean, I can make a video on the topic of Ukrainian last names, but what do you mean? Oh, variety of Ukrainian last names. Well, a lot of our last names are like Russian because, well, Soviet Union. But we have, the thing is that like we have the super Ukrainian last names are Enko and Yuk. So like Huk, Yatsenyuk, Poroshenko, Kovalenko. So those things, they don't conjugate. A woman is Yatsenyuk and a man is Yatsenyuk. Oh, see? Dyak. Dyak is also a Ukrainian last name. And those don't conjugate, so a woman and a man would have the same last name. Kovalenko doesn't conjugate, so it would be Yulia Kovalenko and it would be Ivan Kovalenko. But then the Russianized last names they get conjugated. So like Ivanov, mama.
Ivanova.
Mamo, stranger danger.
Petrova.
Yeah, actually, oh my gosh, that's so funny. But John is Ivan in Ukrainian. I didn't even think about that. But yes, John is Ivan in Ukrainian. Petrovich is it's a patronymic. So like I am Yulia Andreevna because my dad is Andrei. So we have this like patronymic which specifies like belonging to your father. Hi. And so I am Yulia Andreevna. Well, see, John, if he was a Ukrainian and his dad was Ukrainian, he would be John Garyovich. So that is not like those are not last names. Those are patronymics. Everybody has them. Like my mom is Natalia Vyacheslavovna because my grandfather is Vyacheslav. My dad is Andrei Oleksiyovich because his dad is Oleksiy. And I am Yulia Andreevna because my dad is Andriy. So, so yeah, those are patronymics. The last names, however, it's like Ivanov is a Russian last name, and a woman would be Ivanova. Hi, Jen. Oh, good to see you. Melnik, yeah, Melnik. Ik, uk, yuk, enko, yenko.
Підзирайло.
Підзирайло. О. Ну, о, yeah. Enko, о. We are in World War III. What's the average salary in Ukraine in dollars? Do you know? Мамо, яка середня в Україні зарплата в доларах?
В різних регіонах.
Ну, наприклад, it's different in every region because we have states too. But let's say у Львові.
Зараз навіть не знаю.
Ну, не під час війни до війни.
Не можу сказати.
Like 300-ish.
Ні, я думаю, ну більше.
Більше, ніж 300? Like 400-ish?
Ну,
500-ish?
500 це мінімально.
500 – це мінімальна зарплата в Україні?
Ну, неофіційна, офіційна не, ну, офіційна була $200.
Okay, so official minimum wage in Ukraine is
Ну, мінімум такий, менше якого не можна платити. Але то, ну,
yeah, official minimum wage in Ukraine is $200 a month. But my mom says that like in Lviv, like minimum salary is about 500. So it's like no one really gets less than $500 a month.
в Україні не було таких, що зовсім маленьких.
So Jen over here talks about Ukraine all the time. She is not Ukrainian. She has nothing to do with Ukraine. She's just a very good person and she's very interested in Ukraine. She's right here. I'm pointing my finger to her. And her main account has been banned, or all of her main accounts have been banned. She's the person with roses right now. And so if you guys find it in your heart to help out Jen over here, please go follow her. And also it's not even to help her out. She's just a great creator and she talks about Ukraine and her videos are very knowledgeable and she's just a very sweet person and she does very good stuff. So if you're interested in hearing about Ukraine, then please follow her. Mutant Enemy 1961. The vast majority of people in Crimea wanted to be part of Russia. Historically, it has been part of, I'm assuming they want to say Russia. So first of all, actually, I found out recently, because I thought it'd be like about 50-50 in Crimea, that like 50% of people wanted to be a part of Russia, 50% of people wanted to be a part of Ukraine. But then I was talking to a Crimean and I found out a lot from her. And she said that actually, no, first of all, nobody wanted to be a part of Russia until Russians came and were like, we're going to give you bigger salaries, much bigger salaries. We're going to give you this. We're going to give you that. Your life is going to be so great. Everybody's going to be rich. And until like Russian propaganda came in, nobody has ever wanted to be a part of Russia. No, of course, Jen. I think you're such a good creator and I love your account and I hate that they did that to you. I wish that there were more people on right now so more people could follow you, but yeah. I think that you should but so I think that you should, I think your audience is going to find you back. And yeah, and I really hope that they give you your account back. But yeah, so I thought that at least 50% of people probably like wanted to be a part of Russia. Nobody wanted to be a part of Russia until like Russian propaganda came. And then even when it did, it was like about 25 to 30% of people who wanted to be a part of Russia solely because they've been promised bigger salaries. And like they were literally promised everything. And people were like, yeah, of course. And it was probably closer to 25% because people in cities also have been to Russia and knew that it's not going to happen. So it really wasn't as like bipolar as everyone says. Did you see the last video to move to Russia? So cringed. Oh my gosh, that like English speaking one, like cheap gas. Economy so strong that it can withstand the sanctions. I was like, what the heck is that? Yeah, Dan, I'm really sorry, but I'm traveling, so my hotel Wi-Fi is quite crappy, and I can't promise good. I can't promise good service. But I also realized that it's been an hour into our oh. Oh no, it already went out. Okay. It's been an hour into our conversation, so I should be starting on Ukraine news. I don't know which song to play to. I do. Wait, Nazar sent a. Oh my gosh. Oh, hi, Scooter. Oh, Scotter too. There is a Scooter and there is a Scotter. Hi. Oh my gosh. Squirrel, what's that song that Nazar sent to you? I forget its name. Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you for following. I hope you stay a while. Nazar sent a song in our group chat a long time ago, and I am very, very, very confused because I don't know where the heck. Oh, thank you, Steve. Hi, good to see you. Hi. There were large pro-Ukraine demonstrations in Crimea in 2014. Yeah, exactly. Just in time for music, you are. If I find the song that I'm looking for, Squirrel. Yeah, I know it's got a Ukrainian flag as the album art, but what's the name of the song? Because Nazar isn't here, so I can't find it. Oh my goodness. Hi, Troy. I really like the name Troy. It has nothing to do with High School Musical, I promise. Oh my goodness. Where is the mod chat? Why can't I find it? Nazar, where is that song? Oh my god. Okay, I'm never gonna find it in the mod chat because it is there is so much going on there. It is not even funny. But I wouldn't 50% of new Ukrainian songs. So what? Skovka. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Alrighty. Skovka is the song. Skovka. О, Назар! Ура! Привіт! Я шукала пісню. Nazar is going to tell me that that I'm a terrible person because he sent it a while ago and I still haven't listened to it, but that's because I've been busy.
Поки будем бить глаза, зомби бучик, Дніпро і кручик, заєбінь, який ти мочик, зелений квітучик, за Донбас получик, за Чернігів минучик, за Ліситрів, за Хмельницького Богдана, за Францька Івана, за Суми, за Кроми, за
So good. Hey, fine, Nazar. I should have listened to it earlier. Gee. And Jen, I have a whole playlist of Ukrainian music in my link in bio. It's like at the very end on the bottom. Yeah, it's Skovka. So if you go all the way to the bottom, you will see it. And there are a lot of Ukrainian artists there. And you can just like, start there and then branch out. And your Spotify is going to recommend you Ukrainian artists and stuff like that. And you'll see which kind of genres you like. It's a very good song. It reminds me a lot of like the style of Dodoma by Kalush, and I really like that it's. I like the beat. I like everything. Let the algorithm guide you. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't let the TikTok algorithm guide me, but I would let the Spotify algorithm guide me. Spotify algorithm is on point. TikTok is a little sketchy, a tiny bit sketchy. American journalism doesn't go together well these days. Well, I am not American. I am Ukrainian, and I am not a journalist. I am just a concerned citizen who likes politics, geopolitics, history, and culture. So here we are. Alrighty. Zelensky wants to talk directly to China's leader to stop Russia's invasion. I would like to talk directly to the Chinese leader. I had one conversation with Xi Jinping a year ago. He said, since the large-scale aggression began on February 24th, we have formally asked for a conversation, but we have not had a conversation with China. Although I think it would be helpful, Zelensky told the South China Morning Post. The Ukrainian president urged China to use its political and economic influence over Russia to stop the fighting. I am sure that without the Chinese market, Russia would feel totally economically isolated. That's what China can do. Limit trade with Russia until the war is over, Zelensky added. In Chernobyevka, the command post of the 22nd Army Corps of the Coastal Troops of the Black Sea Fleet of the invaders was destroyed, according to Operational Command South. The full volume of enemy losses is being clarified. Also, the aircraft of the armed forces of Ukraine inflicted 2 strikes on the stronghold of the enemy in the areas of Blagodatny and Pravdino. Sometimes I feel like these things are mostly Google translated and then a little bit corrected and a little bit edited. So sometimes they use a word like reconnoitered. The losses are being reconnoitered. Yeah, Oyoluzi Червона Kalina is very good. According to the results of the performance of fire mission by rocket and artillery units, the losses of the enemy amounted to 31 invaders, 1 T-72 tank, Hvozdika and MSTA-B howitzer, 3 units of armored and automotive vehicles, reconnaissance drones. At about 4 in the morning, powerful explosions thundered in Mykolaiv. 2 districts of the city came under shelling. Mayor of Mykolaiv, Alexander Sienkiewicz. Thank you, Jen. There is preliminary information about damage to residential buildings in one area and a fire in another. More than 10 million people have left Ukraine since the beginning of a full-scale war in Ukraine, Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. Of the 10,350,489 people who have left to date, the largest number is in Russia. 1,857,122. According to Ukraine, most of them were illegally deported. In second place is Poland, which received 1,256,568 Ukrainian citizens. At the same time, almost 4 million more people went to other countries in transit through Poland. Among other European countries, Germany is the leader in hosting Ukrainian refugees, 915,000 people. Yeah, so Russia has the biggest amount of Ukrainians since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. Hi, Hogger, or Hog-R. Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, because they've illegally deported Ukrainian citizens into Russia and kidnapped children and are not letting them out. The International Criminal Court cannot apply the article aggression in relation to the war of the Russian Federation against Ukraine, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba. It is written in the statute of the International Criminal Court that one of the crimes of which it can judge is aggression, but in practice, purely for legal reasons, they cannot apply this article specifically to the case of Ukraine and Russia, he explained. Oh, thank you. Hi, Zelensky updates. Thank you for subscribing to the subscriber feature. What else? I don't know how to call it. Welcome to the spy lair is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, for some reason, all of these international courts, they claim that they judge on this, and that, but they only do so until it comes to Ukraine and Russia. For some reason, in this particular case, none of these standards ever apply. Yeah. Fighting continues in two directions of the Eastern Front. The rest of the enemy's attempts to move forward have been stopped. In the Kharkiv direction, the enemy attempted an offensive in the direction of Bayrak, Husarivka. The fighting continues. In the Slivansk direction, the invaders tried to advance in the direction of Dovhenka, Bohorodichne, and they were rebuffed and left. In the Kramatorsk direction, the enemy waged an offensive battle in the direction of Yaramovka, Dolina, did not succeed, retreated. In the Bakhmut direction, the enemy is conducting offensive operations in the Novoluhansk-Kodema direction. The fighting continues. In the Avdiivka direction, the enemy carried out assault operations in the direction of Lozove, Pisky, and Vasile Pisky. Had no success, retreated. The invaders tried to improve the tactical situation in the directions of Strepovka, Solodar, Dolomitne, Maisye, Возрождена, Varshina, Pokrovsky, Bakhmut, Vasilievka, Yakovlevka, Semagirya, Varshina. In all these directions, the enemy had no success and retreated. Invaders continue shelling settlements located along the front line, but basically the main summary as of this morning was that most of their offensives were absolutely not successful. Nicole says on YouTube, in your live one night, while showing off your drill, someone said in Ukrainian, is it possible send the type of package to Ukraine? TikTok translated, is it possible Ukraine vomit package to Ukraine? Oh, that's so weird. I can't even think of a word that they use that would translate to vomit. I don't know. Video of powerful volcanic eruption from a NASA satellite was published by CNN. Volcanic eruption occurred in the waters of Tonga in the Pacific Ocean. The volcano is reported to have released such a large amount of water vapor high into the atmosphere that it is likely to temporarily warm the Earth's surface. Again. Temporarily warm the Earth's surface again. Hasn't it been warmed? Hasn't it been warmed enough? What do you mean temporarily warm the Earth's surface? We're going through gigantic climate change, part of which is global warming. Guys, listen, volcano, could you not have waited a couple of hundreds of years? Maybe a couple of decades? It looks really cool. I agree with you. It's a very pretty picture. Hi, Monty. But could it have not waited a little bit? Its timing is really bad. Like, it is really not. Well, see, here's the thing. It could have waited. Like, it waited this long. It could have waited a little longer. Britain will allocate another £3 billion to Ukraine. Part of the funds will go to military support. According to the publication, Finance Minister Nadeem Zahavi supported the decision to provide Ukraine with pre-export financing through the state agency UK Export Finance, or UKEF. Of those funds, 2.3 billion out of 3 billion are planned to be sent to defense needs. The remaining £700 million will be given to companies that declare their desire to help Ukraine in the post-war reconstruction. Invaders again fired at the settlements of the Dnipropetrovsk region bordering the front line. Head of the army, Valentin Reznichenko. Russian troops shelled Nikopol twice. 60 shells from Grad MLRS flew to residential areas. Initially, there were no casualties. One house was destroyed, almost 50 were damaged, and 36 outbuildings were hit. There was a fire in 2 private yards. Rescuers extinguished the fire. The shelling damaged the buildings and equipment of 3 local enterprises and more than 100 solar panels. 2 power lines were cut in the city. More than 3,000 Nikopol residents are without electricity supply. Emergency electricians are on the scene. In the Kryvyi Rih region, Kryvyi Rih is where Zelensky is from, and he often refers to it as just Kryvyi. Kryvyi Rih means like a skewed horn. So it's or like a skewed antler, kind of. So it's or like a curved antler, basically like something that's not straight. And so they just call it like skewed. So they call it Kryvyi as like a pet name. In the Kryvyi region, the enemy covered the Karpova and Shirokova communities with hurricanes. There is destruction of housing in Shiroki. A 44-year-old woman was injured. She received help and is being treated at home. At night, allegedly, the Ukrainian military again hit the railway in. Oh, thank you so much, Gap. I saw you just signed up for Patreon. Thank you. That is incredibly sweet of you, and I really appreciate it. Also, guys, on TikTok, if you're new here, I also am streaming simultaneously on YouTube and on Twitch. The name is the same on all of my across social media. If you want to find me anywhere, this is how you will find me. Literally like this. And, or in this case, kind of like that in YouTube's case. But so if you miss a stream or if you want to see a news from like a while ago, or if you want to see some videos of a Ukrainian historian talking about Ukrainian history, because we do those as well, they're all saved on YouTube and you can always go there and rewatch them. Or if you're late, or if you had something going on, or if you have no excuse, but you just didn't want to watch me that day, you can always just see that on YouTube or on Twitch, whichever one is more convenient for you. I personally really like YouTube. Also, there is usually the definition is much better. But today, because I'm at a hotel room and my Wi-Fi is fantastic, and for some reason my phone doesn't have the best service here, it is not as great as normal. Now let me plug in my computer because I just noticed that it's not plugged in, and it's an older boy, so it needs some extra charge and extra love sometimes, especially if I'm newscasting. So let me just plug that in. And yeah. I have a video on the Amnesty International article on my TikTok. I have 2 videos about it. And then I also talked about it in the beginning of the live. So this is the case in which it'd be useful if you signed up for YouTube, if you have YouTube, because you can scroll through the live and you can find the part where I talk about it. And it also has live subtitles. So if you prefer to read, yeah. And if you prefer to read on the screen and have subtitles, because, you know, sometimes it is easier, I have subtitles on for YouTube and they generate. I don't know how good they generate in terms of like names of cities, but they generate. So yeah. Okay, so at night, allegedly, the Ukrainian military again hit the railway up Antonovsky Bridge near Kherson. Local publics report that around midnight, air defenses went off. In Ukraine, there is no official information about this case yet. Russian forces used Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant to play on Western fears of Ukraine nuclear disaster, Institute for the Study of War. Thank you. Other findings from the American Institute for the Study of War. Moscow continues to try to use its relationship with Tehran to get drones for use in Ukraine. Well, oh, hi, Larissa. Well, Tehran doesn't have any drones anymore because the facility was destroyed by Israel. Russian troops carried out a limited ground attack northwest of Slavyansk and continued their advance on Bakhmut from the northeast, east, and southeast. Russian forces prioritized frontal attacks on Avdiivka and failed to gain a foothold in Piski. Russian forces from a strike group to prevent a counteroffensive of Ukrainian troops in the north of the Kherson region or strike back at them. The Russian occupation authorities may allow both in-person and online voting in the upcoming pseudo-referendum on the annexation of the occupied territory of Ukraine to Russia, which will allow Russia to more easily falsify the results of the vote, which no one's gonna, even if they falsify the results, most countries came out and spoke out about, like, no, we, like, if you're gonna try to annex the territories, that's just gonna add to an horrid amount of war crimes that you've committed. And everyone knows that these votes and these referendums have no credibility whatsoever. And also the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. So Russians have set up a military base there. And the reason why they have done that is because they know that we're not going to shell at it, because obviously we don't want to blow up our own nuclear power plant. But also, so I was in Arabosis's live today. He was talking quite a bit about it, and he had mentioned that Europeans are scared of that because, well, it's close to Europe. So I want to add to it. It's not just Europeans who are scared of it, and Russia is playing on the whole world, basically being like, will they, won't they? Because they want the world to be scared that Ukrainians might get tired and just strike the nuclear power plant, or like, you know, unpredictability of it. Like, what if it happens, or what if Russians like strike on the power plant themselves and blame Ukraine for it? Because at the end of the day, the power plant is still like, that's going to be a problem no matter who strikes at it. And Russians set up a base there so we as Ukrainians won't shell it because it's a freaking nuclear power plant, right? But it shouldn't just concern Europe, because if a nuclear power plant that's the biggest in Europe, which is the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, if a nuclear power plant of that capacity blows up, it's going to wipe out the whole world, because that nuclear power plant is 10 times the Chernobyl power plant. So if the Chernobyl nuclear disaster was going to wipe out half of the world, this one would wipe out all of it. Hi, Rue. So saying that it would only affect Europeans is not necessarily correct. It would affect the rest of the world as well, because it's 10 times the size of Chernobyl. Yeah. And Ukraine is a nuclear country, not because we have nuclear weapons, but because we have 5 nuclear power plants, including Chernobyl. And I believe it's 14 reactors altogether. So food for thought there. And Russia is using it, and that should be a war crime in itself, because they're quite literally holding the world hostage by holding a nuclear power plant hostage. One of the regions is more modern than Chernobyl, though. Yeah, it is. Well, of course, it is much more modern than Chernobyl, because Chernobyl was back in the 80s, and Zaporizhzhia. Yeah, well, here's the thing: Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is built so that if it's gonna get shelled, the reactor is gonna collapse on itself and kind of like self-preserve. So it is built to withstand bombings, but it is not 100%. No one can ever guarantee 100%. So yeah, so you never know, you know. It's not like a guaranteed situation. Yes, most likely it is not going to explode, but at the same time, there is that chance, right? And no one wants to take that chance because it would wipe out the world. Like, as in, it would. Like, the irradiation would be so strong that at the end of the day, probably nothing on Earth would survive. Or if it would not survive for long. Yeah, and of course Russians are not going to like touch it. It's just that they want to have that nuclear power hold on the planet, and that is exactly why it is a tremendous war crime, is because they are holding the world hostage by holding this power plant hostage, and they know. And one of the reasons why we were asking to close the sky in the beginning of the invasion is because we have 5 freaking nuclear power plants, including Chernobyl. Yes, we need the sky to be closed, because even though they're built to withstand bombing, you never freaking know. Do you really want to test it? Do you want to test if they're built to withstand heavy shelling, but not like, you know, as in like if 1 bomb hits it, 2 bombs, 3 bombs. But if it's like 50, I don't know if it's going to withstand it. Like, if you wanted to blow it up, you could. That's the whole thing. It's just that normally no one would go to such extremities to like blow up a nuclear power plant. Like normally it would be a casualty, you know, as in like it would be an unplanned situation. But if you plan on it, you can find a way to blow it up. Like it's not 100% foolproof, you know. Explosions and shelling were heard at night in Kamenko-Dniprovska and Kichkas, Zaporizhia region. At about 3:30, the enemy hit the outskirts of one of the districts of the city. 2 strikes were recorded, said Anatoly Kurtyev, secretary of the Zaporizhia City Council. A high-rise building and several private houses were destroyed. There are no casualties among the people. Actually, my mom is here, and my mom was definitely super alive during the during the Chernobyl nuclear catastrophe. So I kind of want to ask her a couple of questions, Mama. Ти пам'ятаєш ти день, коли Чорнобиль взірвався?
Так.
Так? Що відбувалося? Як це показували по новинах? І типу, чи було нічого не показували?
Цей день була на басейні.
Угу.
Рівно в цей день. І ще днів 5 нічого.
Ніхто нічого не казав. So first of all, well, since it was Soviet Union, here's how Soviet Union was protecting its citizens. First of
Нічого не сказали, я перепрошую, якби не розголос
в Європі.
в Європі. Особливо в Польщі.
So basically, the Soviet Union wasn't going to tell the citizens what happened to begin with, and it was like a nuclear catastrophe that almost wiped out half of the world. My mom said that that day she was at a pool, like at a public pool, and no one was saying anything, and they weren't saying anything for the next 5 days, and they would not have said anything to the public unless, first of all, whoever you are, that was not Russian, and it's not a Romance language. It was Ukrainian, thank you very much, that I spoke to my mom just now. Because we're Ukrainian, you know, but nobody would have told the citizens anything if Europe and Poland didn't start talking about it, because they've detected the levels of radiation to be very high, and they were like, hey, this is coming from Soviet Union. А цей, як, а чути було щось загальному, типу, чи небо якось, чи нічого не було взагалі? So you wouldn't even know that it was happening because you couldn't see it in the sky.
Це дуже далеко. По-перше, єдине, що там, чому така проблема виникла з Європою, тому що хмари,
Та дощ.
ці
Активні.
радіоактивні хмари, вони пішли на Білорусь і на Польщу. І тому пішов цей розголос.
Але Білорусь же ж була в Союзі.
Ну, але воно там, то воно Білорусь нічого там, не пам'ятаю про Білорусь, я просто знаю, що пішло туди. Але пішло на Польщу, і Польща почала цей розголос проблеми.
So the radioactive clouds, basically like rain clouds, took the radiation with them towards Poland and Belarus. And, well, Belarus got scared. And Poland detected levels of like enormous radiation. And so they were like, what's up? Something must have happened. And then they looked it up, and it only made sense that it would be in the Soviet Union from the direction in which it came from. And it would be like in Ukraine because we have nuclear power plants. And then Germany detected that потім Німеччина ж, правда, наступного
Я не пам'ятаю.
Germany.
Я просто пам'ятаю по розмовах, що якби не пішла ця хмара на Польщу, то ми б і не знали. Нам би і не сказали.
So yeah, basically Poland started making a really big deal out of it, understandably. And so if Poland didn't do that, nobody would have told the public. Yeah, Belarus got a tremendous amount of radiation. Well, Belarus is close. Та, Назар, 5 днів. 5 днів. Не 4, а 5. Because my mom said that they didn't tell anybody anything about.
Я не можу так пам'ятати, 4 чи 5, ну,
пам'ятаю, що було. 4-5 днів. Yeah, 4 or 5 days. But yeah, so they basically didn't tell the people anything. And if Poland didn't start making a huge deal out of it, and that didn't start getting back to Ukraine, nobody would have known. So that was fun. And so basically think about it, like, you know, was it raining? І вас ще на якийсь парад заганяли, ні?
Це було 26 квітня, так, 1 травня. У нас 2 паради було завжди. 1 травня і 9 травня.
Ну да, тому що Радянський
Я
Союз.
ще там шурувала.
Так?
Мгм.
А, ти ж була піонером.
Не
Ні?
справа в тому, це був 86-й, це був перший курс цього інституту, я закінчувала у нас завжди на ці всі.
So my mom was in her first year of university. It was 1986, and it was the 1st of May when they started evacuating people, evacuating people from Chernobyl. And so because my mom was in the first year of university, basically all of the university students were like forced to participate in the parade. So my mom was marching in the parade when that happened, while it was happening. So there were like radioactive clouds. There were like, you know, all of these things happening.
Більше пішов сніг.
Oh,
На 1 травня пішов сніг, а ми були якраз на
And
цьому
May-
параді.
and May 1st, it started snowing somehow. And so think about all of the radiation.
В спортивних купальниках, в чешках, і пішов сніг.
Спортивних куп. Oh, because ти також що тоді лижами займалась, так? Чи вже ні?
Я ж була в цьому, в інституті фізкультури. І кожного разу ми ходили на
My
ці-
mom was in the sports university, and so they were all like wearing ballet shoes and like those like leotards and stuff, and it was snowing and everything. And I mean that in itself is a picture worth a million words. But yeah, she was apparently they were just like forced into the parade. It was snowing, radioactive clouds, snowing, you know, radiation coming down.
26 квітня ми заграли на басейні, заграли і плавали. А 1 травня
Hi. Sorry. Hello. I'm back. So long story short is my hotel Wi-Fi is garbage, and so if my phone turns off or something happens to it, the computer Wi-Fi turns off too because it's tethered to my phone. But hello, I'm back. And Dave, yes, I have watched the HBO Chernobyl series. I really liked it. It was very accurate to everything that I've known about Chernobyl and everything that I've researched about Chernobyl. So, and a lot of people actually said that it was quite accurate. There were a lot of like things added to the dramatic effect of it, like for storylines, but it was very accurate. Like they merged a bunch of scientists into that one Belarusian scientist. She's not a real person. She's like a merge of a bunch of people who were very concerned. But yeah. Okay, so a Starlink. Oh my god. Yeah, how much is a Starlink? I also normally like I'm at home and you know, I do have Wi-Fi. Request Elon Musk like, hey, Elon. What is it, like the Legally Blonde application to Harvard? Hi, Elon. I'm Yulia. And I love doing news about Ukraine. However, lately I've been traveling and Wi-Fi in hotels that I can afford is really bad. I heard you've got what I need. Elon, I'm officially submitting my application for a free Starlink link, Wi-Fi star thing. Anywho, this is my official application for the free Starlink. Please send it to my P.O. box, link in my bio. Thank you, Elon. I knew you would be great. Bye. Oh, and shouldn't I have Cindy in this video because Elle had her little Chihuahua bruiser in it? No. Because I feel like Cindy would make for a dramatic effect. Yeah, also like, hey Elon, for realsies, you know, I'm Ukrainian too. I'm contributing to, you know, the situation here because I want to, obviously, but also like, sir, it'd be much easier to report on things had I had Starlink. Okay. 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 So yeah, I'm not even asking, I'm demanding. You owe me one. You do. Hi, Pamela. Oh my God, good to see you. Hi. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. I hope you're feeling better. Well, let's continue. Russians have significant losses. They make up for infantry with residents of recently occupied cities. Head of Luhansk Army Serhiy Haidai on the situation in the region. Over the past 24 hours, the enemy fired 3 rockets, used cannon artillery 5 times, and 5 more rocket artillery. Enemy attacks were supported by mortar and tank attacks in the areas of 8 settlements the Russians bombed from the air. According to available information, about 80 people have already been sent to the front in Starobelsk this week. They replenish the composition of the assault groups, which are regularly neutralized by the armed forces of Ukraine. On August 3rd, the invaders were forced to retreat with significant losses in 14 sectors where they tried to improve the tactical situation. In the Donetsk region, the Russians killed 3 civilians in Bakhmut, Mariinka, and Shevchenko. 5 people were injured, said the head of the army, Pavlo Kirilenko. Footage of Chinese army exercises near Taiwan has been recorded. The exercises will be held from 4th to 7th of August. Oh no, please don't attack Taiwan on my birthday. Like, please don't attack Taiwan at all, but also not on my birthday. God. Hi, Army Mom. Oh, Pamela. Welcome to the spy lair. Oh my gosh, I love seeing the little spy things. They're so cute. I'm going to be adding more emojis to be continued for now because I'm on the road and I don't have much Photoshop capacity. I made do with some, but we do have the smooth and fascinating one. I don't know if the smooth and fascinating one is extremely important in my opinion, you know. Also, if you are not on YouTube, so I have these like quotes that I randomly generate because I put them in, and these are some of my favorite quotes from prominent Ukrainians. And this one is, everything moves, everything passes, and there is no end. Where did it all disappear? From where did it all come? Both the fool and the wise man know nothing. Taras Shevchenko. Yeah, the little spy things. I love the little spy things. She married, bro. Oh my gosh. Smooth and fascinated. It's fascinating. Hi, Christina. Good to see you. Yeah, Nasta is making some emojis. She actually volunteered to make some emojis, okay? She did. She's gonna make some emojis, Carlos. Calm your tits. Calm your tits. Nasta's gonna make some emojis. I know. I understand. We all love Nasta. We all love Nasta. We all want Nasta to make emojis. I do too. I get it. I'm very happy that we all stand up for our own, but Jesus Christ. You think I haven't thought of Nasta yet? I have. I'm good. How are you, Christina? Oh, so walking. How are you? Okay, so what did I want to do? Oh, I wanted to show you a video. So Vlad, one of the creators that talks about Ukraine, has sent me a video. So he posted a video today that a Russian war veteran came. Oh my gosh, Carlos, that's not what I meant. Good to see you, Christina. And Carlos, Jesus, that's not what it is. I said calm your tits because that's what I say. It's like some people say hold your horses, and I say calm your tits. But yes, an orc was trying to get on a bus, and he is a veteran of the war in Ukraine, and he served and fought for Russian safety and stuff, but he basically lost both of his legs on the front lines, and so he was in a wheelchair and he was trying to get on a bus, and the bus driver was refusing to help him. So I'm going to try and show you that video, but I need to find the excerpt. Yeah, calm your horses is what a lot of people say. Oh, Scooter, welcome to the spy lair.
It's Conzone Plus' biggest clearance event of the year, where you can save up to 70% on clearance items store-wide.
Okay, so here is, Vlad told me it's about, oh, okay, I see.
Начались очень большие проблемы в Швейцарии. Из списки Евросоюза, а вот теперь Соединенные Штаты. Это город Псков, безногий участник.
Okay, so here is what that looks like. I'm going to show it to you. Also, everyone was like recording it instead of helping this man. But not that I want people to help an orc get on a bus, but my point is that Russians love their defenders so much. Russians are such grateful people in general, But let me show you what's happening here, okay?
С операции подошел к водителю, попросил его подвезти, а его послали.
Воевал, где? Рад за тебя, ё-моё, ну что было не воевать, я тут такие делал. Так я ноги потерял, где? Хоть ты потеряй, мне как-то ты знаешь. Там же нацисты, где? Они детей едят! Где? Ну будь ты человек! Сынок, не могу быть человеком. Ну как ты не можешь? Ну будь ты человеком! Ну за что я отдал свои ноги? Я за свою семью пытался, но ничего не получилось, правильно? А как же... А как же денацификация? Где? Увидите, что проблема. Нет, мы же сохраняем нашу родину. Зарожденца, уберуй, поедем. Куда ты меня сейчас едешь? Да я сейчас своих позову, ты чё? Куда? Нет, давай без этого. Нет, без этого. А вы знаете, что ты живешь.
Пропагандистка Мария Бутина предложила сажать родителей, чьи дети
So basically, what happened there is this man was standing in front of the bus. I'm going to translate it. This is the first time I'm seeing this video, but basically this military man, like orc, is like, I was fighting for you, for Russia's safety, and you don't want to give me a ride. And the dude is like, well, I'm glad for you. I gotta go. I'm not gonna help you. Like, I'm not gonna help you get up here. And he's like, man, what did I fight for then? What did I give my legs for? And he's like, well, I don't know, your family, maybe somebody who gives a shit. And they're literally, yeah, literally nothing, bro, nothing. And he's like, what about the Nazis I was fighting in Ukraine? What about the Nazis? And this like driver is literally like, yo, I'm gonna go. Like, bye, please leave. But it's like funny because, you know, so most of these Russians, I assume, like everyday Russians, they do believe in the whole like Ukrainian Nazi situation, right? And they're probably still like, yo, I don't want to help him out. Like, this bus also has like absolutely no disability access, like none. And this man was also, this military guy was literally like, I'm gonna find where you live. Are you kidding me? You're gonna go, I'm gonna go call my bros and stuff like that. And it's like, this entire dialogue is so sad because it's a dialogue between an idiot who went to fight at the war to protect what? Literally nothing. To protect nothing. What was he protecting? He went to the war and lost his legs to do what? To make some like trivial amount of money? To kill some people? Lost legs. And that was that. And then the bus driver is literally just like, yeah, I don't want to help this disabled dude. Like, I'm too tired. What am I supposed to do? But it's also like the treatment of people with disabilities in general in Russia is awful. Not that I care to like, it's not that I care to talk about like the terrible treatment of the orc, but it's just more in general shows how people with disabilities are treated in Russia in general. Like, it's a bus. And it looks like a pretty busy bus, and it looks like a modern bus, so it has to be in a bigger city. There is no accessibility ramp. Oh yeah, of course. Oh my gosh, there are no reasons needed to not live in Russia, but also it's an awful place. And yeah, these people believe that Ukrainians are Nazis and whatnot, right? And that the war, like the special operation, is necessary, and they still don't respect their veterans. So like, okay. Around 4 a.m. and after 6 a.m., powerful explosions thundered in Mykolaiv. 2 districts of the city came under shelling. The head of the Mykolaiv army, Vitaly Kim, Previously, residential buildings were damaged, windows were broken, and the roof was damaged. Also, as a result of the hit of ammunition and their fragments, a fire broke out. In addition, one of the rockets hit the roadway, the other hit the sidewalk. Previously, without victims. Your accents. Yeah, I do. I do a lot of those. That's my thing, you know. I like accents, especially the special operation ones, because you know, how do you talk about the Russian population without the special operation accent? I also like can't take them. You know what? The funny thing is that every time I've read Lavrov's statements before, I used to read them like this, but this was mostly to distinguish the stupidity that Russian people express from, you know, everything else that is being talked about in the article. And then I listened to Lavrov deliver a speech in English, and holy shit, I was talking like Lavrov the whole time without even knowing it. I wasn't even mocking him, as it turns out. This is literally how he speaks. So I'm just like, oh, I was just making it more realistic. And I didn't even know. I did such a good job. And I didn't even know. So I, in fact, was delivering the best accuracy news, just so you know, because not only did I research it, right, but I also went above and beyond to make you feel like you were in the room with Lavrov. Not that you want that, unless you do. In the room with Lavrov, as he was saying this bullshit. So, you know, appreciate me, because it's like, you know, there is Dolby Surround, the sound. I was delivering you the Lavrov surround, the sound, okay? So just FYI, I think, you know, I think out of everybody who delivers news over here, you know, no one puts themselves in Lavrov's shoes, so to speak. Not that I would want to be in his shoes. I'm sure they stink. But anyways, see? The things I do for the accuracy of news reports. Anyways. Details of the shelling of Kharkiv and the region. A citizen of Russia died, the head of Kharkiv Regional Military Administration, Oleg Senegubov. In the Nemushlansky district of Kharkiv, hitting an infrastructure facility. There are 2 more hits in the open area in the Kharkiv region. There were no casualties. Over the past day, the enemy shelled the Chuhuyev, Kharkiv districts of the region. Residential houses, outbuildings were damaged. Several fires broke out. The invaders fired artillery at Tsirkuny 3 times. As a result of enemy shelling, 4 people were hospitalized during the day. 3 women in the Chuhuyev district, 1 man in Kharkiv. A 58-year-old man in Chuhuyev died as a result of shelling by the invaders. He was a citizen of Russia. Oh, no. Sorry. No, nothing. Not sad. I mean, hey, you decided to, you know, let your country invade our country, so yeah. You know, as they say, no one is safe in Ukraine, unfortunately. Russians neither, fortunately. Aftermath of a rocket attack in Zaporizhia region. 1 rocket hit near the highway near the village of Volno-Andriivka. Хвила Andriivka should be. Volno, это русское. But anyways, Volno-Andriivka, there were no casualties. In Zaporizhia, 2 strikes. 1 person was injured by glass fragments. Hi. At about 4 a.m., the invaders attacked the warehouses of an agricultural firm in Ternuvata community. There were no casualties. At 2:10, the village of Novoivanivka of the Kamyshev community was shelled. There were no casualties. Houses and a granary were destroyed. Update on Ukraine as of August 4th, 2022. According to British Intelligence Directorate. Ukraine's missile and artillery units continue to target Russian military strongholds, personnel clusters, logistical support bases, and ammunition depots, which will highly likely impact Russian military logistics resupply and put pressure on Russian military combat support elements. On August 3rd, 2022, the first vessel with the Ukrainian grain arrived at the Bosphorus Strait, having transited the Black Sea from Odessa. It is On August 3rd, 2022, the first vessel with Ukrainian grain arrived at the Bosphorus Strait, having transited the Black Sea from Odessa. It is almost certain the success of this transit will result in more frequent transits in both directions. Thank you, Vlad. Clearing the backlog caused by the blockade that has been in place since February 22nd will remain a logistical challenge. Russian forces have almost certainly positioned pyramidal radar reflectors in the water near the recently damaged Antonovsky Bridge and by the recently damaged nearby rail bridge, both of which cross over the Dnipro River in Kherson, southern Ukraine. The radar reflectors are likely being used to hide the bridge from synthetic aperture radar imagery and possible missile targeting equipment. The highlights the threat Russia feels from the increased range and precision of Western supplies systems. Woo! Today, I'm having a very hard time pronouncing things. Invaders fired on Sumy region in the morning, head of the Armei Dmytro Zhivitsky. From 5 in the morning, the Russians began shelling the Shalytina society, or community actually, 12 mortar fires, and 10 more strikes from artillery at 6 in the morning. From 6:30, mortar fire began on Krasnopilya community, 8 strikes. Novoslobodski community pictured at almost 6 in the morning. Russians opened fire on 2 villages of the community, 6 strikes at private houses of civilians, streets, gardens, fires started. According to preliminary data, there were no human casualties. You had a long day. It's all good. We appreciate them as well. Thank you for your understanding. The James Webb Telescope captures another stunning photo of Earendel, the farthest known star in the universe. The star was discovered a couple of months ago by the gravitational lensing and named after a character in J.R.R. Tolkien's novel, The Silmarillion. The star is 12.9 billion light years from Earth, and this is what it looks like. That's a piece of really cool world news, or rather universe news. That is literally universal news. Mass privatization starts in Ukraine from September 1st, according to Shmuhal. Simultaneously with privatization, the state is launching grant programs to motivate businesses and people to create jobs as much as possible. Small-scale privatization, especially in regions where people in villages and towns know objects that have been standing for years and have been used inefficiently, is designed to make it possible to buy these premises at a fair price and start work. Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal said during a meeting with heads of regions. In turn, the Ministry of Economy announced that auctions of elevator capacities and grain processing plants would be announced in early September. Temporarily occupied Donetsk was under fire. Russian publics report that there were strikes in the area of the drama theater, where today they are saying goodbye to the deceased collaborator Olha Kachura, commander of the Rocket Artillery Division of the People's Militia of the DPR. Also reported about the strike near the Hotel Donbass Palace. First of all, there are dead. Recall, the armed forces of Ukraine do not shell residential areas of occupied territories, but so Russians are trying to say that Ukraine shelled these areas, of course, because what else would they say? But here, there was a propaganda video that Russians were trying to use in order to make it look like there are people who are dead there, and then you can see literally that those people, the bodies that were being covered, move their heads while they're being covered. And also one of the victims is like getting comfortable to lay down as they're filming, and they did not think of taking that part out, which but so yeah, so this is
Есть погибшие. Очень страшно. Донбасс палас.
so this is the woman collaborator, this I don't know, and this was the other place. But so there was near that hotel, I'll show you later, the man was like, they were filming to show the destruction in this hotel, and they were like, oh, there are dead people here, and like blah blah blah, there are victims, there are casualties. And as they're approaching the hotel, you can see a woman literally laying down to pretend to be dead, and then 2 seconds later, out of the window, you can see that they're putting like so there's no one else there, right? No other bodies there. And like 10 seconds later, they are putting like a cover on top of this dead woman, as she's also moving her head like different directions. Oh, yeah, horrible acting. Russia bypasses oil sanctions with the help of Egypt. Russian oil is delivered to the Egyptian oil terminals of Al Hamra and Ras Shuhair, where local oil is stored, but it is possible to store large volumes of oil. Most likely, Russian and local oil are mixed there, after which it is already difficult to track the movement of purely Russian oil. Egypt is already being used by Russia as a transit route for fuel oil. Previously, tankers carrying Russian oil transshipped cargo from ship to ship off the Spanish city of Ceuta in North Africa, and more recently in the Central Atlantic Ocean. It is an unusual location for such a complex operation, which is usually carried out in protected coastal locations. Russia seeks to fabricate evidence of Olenivka strike, Associated Press. U.S. intelligence has found that Russia is going to plant false evidence to blame Ukrainian troops for the terrorist attack in Olenivka, where 53 people were killed and dozens were injured. No one believes them. The official, who was not authorized to comment publicly and spoke in condition of anonymity, said that secret intelligence data shows that the Russians may even install HIMARS ammunition as evidence, as sooner or later independent experts and journalists will gain access to the colony. Well, they would have to physically strike the location with a HIMARS for it to look like a freaking HIMARS strike. But it's also going to look different than what it looked like when it actually happened. The presidential office named things necessary for the negotiation process with Russia. To speak with the Russian Federation, you need to have the right negotiating position. It contains 4 simple components: long-range artillery, MLRS, and ATACMS to destroy Russian logistics. AAA to protect cities. Attack drones are the best hunters. Armored vehicles for counteroffensives. Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the presidential administration, wrote on Twitter. Podolyak is like my spirit animal recently. He just answers so well. He has no filter, but he's also so polite. In Toretsk, 8 people were killed and 4, including 3 children, were injured due to Russian shelling, head of the Donetsk army, Pavlo Korolenko. One of the strikes fell on a public transport stop where at that time there were people. There is also a hit in the area of the church. The priest is wounded. High-rise buildings damaged. According to preliminary information, the shelling was carried out from artillery. Viktor Medvedchuk's arrest was extended to September 19th by the decision of Lviv court, according to media reports. So now Viktor Medvedchuk is that man who was the MP of the of the opposition party for life, the one who is basically besties with Putin, who is Mama, це Putin, Хресний Медведчука дочки, та? Ну, послухай. So either Medvedchuk is the godfather to one of Putin's kids, or Putin is the godfather to one of Medvedchuk's kids. And Medvedchuk is like buddy with him, and he was arrested, obviously, on the account of treason. Hi, Kevin. And now his arrest has been extended while they're still looking for proof. No, he was never gonna. That's Yanukovych, the previous guy, also. Yeah, Podolak has a very, very polite way of saying "f off." Yeah, as Veronica pointed out oh so graciously on YouTube. I agree. Massive wave of mining in Ukraine. In addition to Ternopil, Rivne, and Vinnytsia, explosive objects are also searched at the Kropyvnytsky and Khmelnytsky railway stations. They also reported allegedly mining a vegetable market. Ukraine did not shell Donetsk in the morning, advisor to the head of the presidential office, Mikhailo Podolyak. Only Russians themselves or the People's Militia Corps of the unrecognized criminal republics hit Donetsk. It makes no sense for us to strike at some events in Donetsk. We need to destroy three things: fuel depots, warehouses with artillery, shells to reduce the intensity of artillery shelling, and it has decreased significantly. Operational tactical headquarters to reduce the offensive potential of the Russian army. We fight effectively and creatively. We do not need these demonstrative strikes. They do not solve any problems, he said. On the video, the aftermath of the shelling of Donetsk, according to preliminary information, 6 people were killed and injured. In the occupied Bolovodsk, a car with local occupation authorities was fired upon. The so-called mayor and his deputy were in the car. Both were wounded, said the head of the Luhansk army, Serhiy Haidai. The truck flew into several cars on the move and caught fire in Sevastopol on the Tavrida highway. Video of the moment of the accident is published. According to the Russian Ministry of Emergency Situations, let us recall that Crimea is temporarily occupied by Russia. 21 people were injured, including 3 children. 1 person died. It is supposed that it is presumed at the moment, preliminarily, that the truck's brakes failed. Can you talk about the alt-right or Nazi claims from Russia? There is a video about Azov pinned to my profile. If you'd like to know more, you can go watch it. It's pretty comprehensive. It explains to you why and how this whole Nazi rhetoric happened. Russia thinks that because we're rejecting Russia, we are Nazis because we are Ukrainian Nazis. But like the thing is, like, we're a separate country. Why would we want to be absorbed by Russia? It's not Nazi or like alt-right to want to not lose your language that's been beaten out of you for centuries. And another thing is, it's just propaganda. It is literally propaganda from Russia because they need to say something. If anything, Russia is Nazis because they're quite literally committing a genocide on Ukrainian people purely because they're Ukrainian and don't want to like be absorbed by Russia. And then another thing about the whole like Nazi claims from Russia is it's so baseless. First of all, we don't, yes, sure, we have Nazis, just like, unfortunately, every other country does, but less than 1% of the population ever supported any Nazi ideals, and less than that ever expressed any Nazi ideals. So we don't actually have a problem with like far-right movements in Ukraine. They're very, very insignificant. So Russia is literally just making that up. While in Russia, they have 8 registered Nazi organizations. Officially registered means like by like past government checks. They have like Nazi parades on Hitler's birthday. No one does anything about it. So yeah, I wouldn't really believe Russian claims about anything because, you know, they can't really claim that Ukraine has a Nazi issue and they came to liberate us from Nazis while they're being Nazis themselves. So it's quite not reputable of a claim. But so yeah, this is what happened with the truck. No, I mean, like, I'm not. So first of all, I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. It's just that when I talk about Russia or Russia claiming anything about Nazis in Ukraine, I just get really passionate because I'm just like. But there is a video that I have pinned on my profile about Azov, and there is a video that I have about Stepan Bandera that Russians love bringing up as a Nazi. First of all, they were calling him a Nazi collaborator and his like followers Nazi collaborators. None of that was true. First of all, Stepan Bandera was literally in a Nazi concentration camp for like a good amount of time. Nazis arrested him and put him in a concentration camp, and the only reason he survived is because Germany fell. And he wasn't executed yet, and then he was executed by a KGB agent, if that tells you anything. But yeah, there is a video pinned to my profile about Azov and how this whole like Nazi rhetoric came about. And yeah, so if you're interested, you can watch that. And then if you go through my page in general, there is a lot of videos on different subjects. If you want me to answer something in particular, you're welcome to submit a Q&A on my profile, and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. I usually like, or you can comment under any video literally and just ask me about it, and I will answer it. And I'm going to respond to it as well. I respond to Q&As on my profile and like video comments all the time. So yeah. Героям слава. Defense Minister of Ukraine Alexei Reznikov dismissed the heads of the largest state-owned arms trade enterprises, according to the media. Thank you for the tiny diny. Vadim Nozdrya and Yevhen Larin were removed from the post of General Director of Ukrbeksport. And Yevgeny Larin was removed from the post of Director of Techno Export. Vadim Nozdrya and Yevgeny Larin were appointed to senior positions in January 2020. I don't know a lot about them, so I'm going to have to look it up. So Mikhailo Podolyak responded to the Amnesty International article saying, Amnesty International writes that the Ukrainian military allegedly set up bases in schools and hospitals, which violates the tactics of warfare. Experts came to this conclusion after studying Russian strikes in the Kharkiv-Mykolaiv regions and in the Donbass. True, they add that from all Russian strikes on civilian targets had a military purpose, and often the Russians hit places where there were no military men. The Office of the President reacted to the accusations as follows. The only thing that poses a threat to the lives of Ukrainians is the Russian army of executioners and rapists that came to Ukraine to commit genocide. Our defenders defend their people and families, said Mikhailo Podolyak, advisor to the head of the presidential office. And he added, today, Russia is making every effort to discredit the armed forces of Ukraine in the eyes of Western societies and disrupt the supply of weapons using its entire network of agents of influence. It's a pity that an organization like Amnesty International is involved in this disinformation and propaganda campaign. The head of the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry, Dmytro Kuleba, also answered to the organization. I understand that the response to criticism by Amnesty International will say that we criticize both sides of the conflict, But let's clearly agree on understanding simple things. This behavior of Amnesty International is not about finding and reporting the truth to the world. It is about creating a false balance between the perpetrator and the victim. Therefore, please stop creating a fake reality where everyone is to blame for something. Get involved in telling the truth about Russia, about what Russia is today. Do it at least in the name of civilian victims who were covered by Russian shells at a bus stop in Donetsk region. Belarusian army goes to exercise in Russia, Ministry of Defense. Belarusian military will go to the Russian Far East, where strategic exercises Vostok 2022 will be held in late August and early September. The exercise will involve 250 servicemen of the Belarusian armed forces of one of the mechanized brigades of the Western Operational Command. As a reminder, the threat of an attack on Ukraine from Belarus is not ruled out. Despite the fact that there are no prerequisites for this now, the borders with Belarus are being strengthened and mined. Oh, so these are the videos. Okay, so look, if you're looking at this video carefully, right, I'm going to show you. Okay, look, this woman is laying down to pretend to be dead. We saw that, right? She's still moving. Okay, now this is in the hotel. So I'm going to, you saw that woman being covered, right? Okay, now look. Okay, so this is a woman. Her head moves. See, her head moved again, now again. Like, come on. And then when we were talking about this lovely video, okay. So this is allegedly that victim. Yeah. Well, you know. Ukraine will return the occupied territories before referendums are held there. Deputy head of the presidential administration, Ihor Zhovkva, said in an interview with the news and analysis website LB. The office of the president is sure that referendums in the occupied territories will not take place because Ukraine will return them under its control earlier. Earlier, there was talk about September 11th because it coincides with the single day of voting in Russia. Then there began reports that perhaps these pseudo-referendums will be held not in September but later. In any case, I would not even like to analyze it because we're sure that no such referendum will take place because these territories will not be under Russian control, Zhovkva said. Also, Russians chose September 11th as a day for referendums. Think about it. Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov also reacted to Amnesty International's statement about the deployment of weapons by the AFU in residential areas. Any attempt to question the right of Ukrainians to oppose genocide, to protect their families and homes, to protect their lives and the lives of their children, to oppose the actions of Russia as a terrorist state is perverse, no matter what legal they disguise it in. Any attempts to even casually equate unprovoked Russian aggression and Ukrainian self-defense, as Amnesty International's piece does, is evidence of a loss of adequacy and a way to destroy one's credibility. Also, speaking of Reznikov, so anytime I mention Reznikov, my mom tells me, you know that we're family friends, right? I grew up with him. So Reznikov is our defense minister, and Reznikov's dad was a very good friend of my grandpa's. Dad was, because rest in peace. But so, as I told you, my grandfather got a presidential award for his contribution to the military education in, to the physical education in Ukraine and to the military research. And so my mom said today that when Reznikov was giving, because Reznikov, the defense minister, was giving that award to my grandfather, not the president, as in like physically giving it. And he did that in the artillery university where my grandfather works. Apparently, when he was giving him that award in front of 1 million people at the university, he gave the award not to Vyacheslav Mykolaievich, okay, who is, the respectable professor. He gave the award to Dядя Slava, which quite literally means Uncle Slava, because that's how Oleksiy Reznikov, the defense minister, sees my grandfather as Dядя Slava. My mom told me today that yes, when he got the presidential award, he did not get it in the name of Vyacheslav Mykolaievich, his last name. He got it in the name of Dядя Slava. Uncle Slava. You know. So just so you know, I'm the granddaughter of Dядя Slava for our defense minister. Okay? My mom is like laughing. But it's funny because my mom is the one who says it all the time. Okay, in the 6th month of the war, Ukrainian forces have shown the ability to retaliate and retake territory. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. Also, my mom always wants everybody to know that she grew up with Oleksiy Reznikov and they were friends and they were tight, okay? And my mom never had a crush on him, just FYI. Oh, okay. What we are seeing now is a brutal and bloody war of attrition. The advance of the Russians has stopped again, and the Ukrainians have shown the ability to retaliate and take back territory and are planning a counteroffensive in the south, Stoltenberg said during a speech in Norway. So you're asking which university did this happen in? I'm not going to say on air because you can DM me on Instagram and I'll tell you, but I don't want to say that on air because I don't want somebody to find my grandfather's name and last name. Because if you look it up, you're probably going to see it. It's like a big event, you know. He also noted that NATO has 2 tasks: to support Ukraine and prevent the conflict from escalating into a full-scale war between NATO and Russia. They justify Russian killers. Palatny condemned the statement of Amnesty International. According to Amnesty International, the lives of peaceful Ukrainians are threatened not by the Russians who have been indiscriminately shelling our territory with prohibited weapons for 5 months, but by the AFU. According to their logic, it is not the aggressor who is responsible, but the victim. They say it's the Ukrainians' own fault for defending themselves. If they surrendered immediately, no one would have been killed, said the head of the volunteer staff of the Ukrainian team, Artur Palatny. We are talking about the report of Amnesty International, which shows that the Ukrainian troops violate the law of war by placing military equipment and weapons in schools, hospitals, and residential areas. The armed forces of Ukraine have liberated 2 villages in Donetsk region, which is awesome. Tonight, Mykolaiv was shelled actually 4 times. 2 districts of the city were hit by rockets. In the center of Mykolaiv alone, more than 10 private homes, 3 multi-story buildings, and an office building were damaged. They have broken windows, doors, broken roofs, and damaged property. This is a video that accompanies that report. I don't know if there is... So there is no city in Ukraine named Dnipropetrovsk. It's Dnipro. Just FYI. And it's not Kyiv. It's Kyiv. Not Kyiv, Kyiv. Not Dnipropetrovsk, Dnipro. We do not have cities named Kyiv, and we do not have a city named Dnipropetrovsk. We have a city named Dnipro, and we have a city named Kyiv. I don't know where you have been in Ukraine, but those 2 cities do not exist in my country. Just FYI. Sure, but that was because it was called in Russian by Russian speakers. Yet in Ukraine, this city in 97 was officially Dnipro, and Kyiv was also Kyiv. So that's the thing, that it's just Russian speakers who called it that. But the cities on the map and the cities in Ukrainian law, constitution, whatever you'd like, were always Dnipro and Kyiv. They were never spelled the Russian way, and they were never named the Russian way, especially not in 1997. The enemy is concentrating its main effort in eastern Ukraine to establish full control over Donetsk and Luhansk region. The main thing from the General Staff summary of the evening of August 4th. And also, it's just, I am very, very big on correcting these things because we are fighting for our independence from Russification and from Russian invasion and from Russian aggression and from Russian imperialism and colonialism. So please, when you're talking about these cities, no, D is not silent. Dnipro. Мама, в Україні Київ в 97-му році був названий Київ офіційно чи Київ?
Не знаю.
Українська мова була конституційною мовою з 91-го року. My mom was alive in 1997, and I was alive in 1997. Thank you very much. But also, Ukrainian is the official language of Ukraine since 1991, since the Soviet Union collapsed. Therefore, every city that was named in Ukraine under the Ukrainian constitution would be named with the Ukrainian spelling on Ukrainian land. So just because your friends or whoever you were talking to were speaking Russian and calling Kyiv Kiev does not mean that it was named Kyiv. It was freaking not renamed since 1991. It's just that people kept calling it Kiev because under Soviet Union everybody had to speak Russian. But it's freaking Kyiv. And Dnipropetrovsk is also a Soviet freaking thing. And since 1991, it still would not have been Dnipropetrovsk. It would have been Dnipropetrovsk, if anything. But it's actually Dnipro. So, Dnipropetrovsk. Воно би не було Дніпропетровськ.
Так само, як і Львів.
Тобто?
Львів теж почала казати з 90-х.
Першого.
Так. Ну, трошки пізніше.
Ні, ну у Львові все рівно його не Львов називали. На українській мові називали Львов?
Ні, на українській ні. Але міжнародне було Львов.
Ну, та всюди було Львов. The problem is that, like, since it's always been Kyiv and it's always been Dnipropetrovsk, since not Dnipro and Kiev, since like the fall of the Soviet Union, the thing is that everybody treated us as a part of Russia and everybody treated us as speaking Russian. So everybody abroad was naming our cities the Russian way. But since 1991, since Ukrainian was the only official language of Ukraine, you can't have Russian freaking names in a country with an official language of Ukraine. Have you seen the official documents in Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine of how these cities were named? I'm glad that you were 25 in 1997, but you're right now arguing with a girl whose country is being invaded by Russia. Telling me, oh, I'm gonna call it Dnipropetrovsk and Kiev because in 1997 I thought that this was the proper name for it. Well, we are in 2022. It's like, I don't like this half-assed support for Ukraine. It's like, oh, I support you, but you know what? I'm going to argue you on how to call your cities. Like, dude, you do not speak Ukrainian. You're not Ukrainian. I am telling you, it's Kyiv and it's Dnipro. If you want to call it Dnipropetrovsk and you want to call it Kyiv, then you're supporting Russification. You want to argue me on it, you're supporting Russification. Why are you doing it? Can you just not like step over your ego and just accept the fact that these cities are not called freaking Kyiv and Dnipro? Thank you. Now, this is not what I wanted to do for 15 minutes of my life, but you're welcome. Volodymyr Zelensky held the first conversation in the history of bilateral relationships with the president of Guinea-Bissau. Well, if you love the people of Ukraine, then please respect us and don't argue with me how to pronounce the names of our cities and argue for Russification just because in 1997 someone told you that the city was called Kyiv. I'm fully aware that everybody kept calling it Kyiv, and I'm fully aware that everybody kept calling it Lviv and stuff like that because of Russification. And Russification is why we're here today. So please don't perpetuate it. It is Kyiv and it is Dnipro. The heads of state discussed the support of Ukraine, in particular in international organizations. Volodymyr Zelensky noted Ukraine's readiness to act as a guarantor of food security in the region. A protest rally was held on Sofia Square in Kyiv, Olenivka, and New Auschwitz, initiated by relatives of the captured defenders of Azovstal. Beds were placed on the square as in the barracks where Ukrainian soldiers were killed by the Russians. Under these beds with people, black smoke bombs were lit, symbolizing the smoke and fire from which the prisoners died. The participants called on the International Committee, and in particular the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, to fulfill their obligations and gain access to the captured Azovstal defenders, ensuring their safety in the future.
А він знаходився в Олесі, так?
Так, він з 20 травня він вийшов з Азовсталі, і 25-го мені надали інформацію, що він в Оленівці вже.
І після цього теракту жодної ніякої інформації більше не отримав.
Я не знаю.
А що ви вимагаєте, що наразі, що ви хочете?
Yes. So this is protest in Olenivka, about Olenivka. Gazprom on the border with Finland burns gas intended for transportation to the EU, the Finnish edition of YLE. A huge torch has been burning at the Portavaia compressor station for several weeks now. North Macedonia handed over 4 Su-25 attack aircraft to Ukraine, reports MKD. Skopje bought these aircraft from Kyiv for 4 million euros in 2001 during a conflict with Albanian separatist groups. In the spring of 2003, the Macedonian Ministry of Defense announced that there was no longer a need for combat aircraft in the armed forces, and in 2004, the aircraft were mothballed. Now it is reported they have been handed back to Ukraine free of charge. In the Finnish city of Lappeenranta, not far from the Russian border, the anthem of Ukraine will sound daily. Thank you, Finland. The anthem will sound every day at 7:30 p.m. The mayor of the city, Kimmo Jarva, said that in this way he wants to demonstrate his support for Ukraine and Ukrainians. The fact is that Lappeenranta is the favorite city of Russians for shopping, and they do often go there. Also in the city, the Ukrainian flag is raised on the flagpole in front of the city hall and in the port. Hi, Dasha. It's really nice to meet you. I'm really sorry that that you had to move out of Sevastopol because of Russian occupation. I hope that you can return home. Russia does not offer dialogue, it offers us to surrender. Zelensky spoke sharply about negotiations with the Russian Federation. Everywhere they say they're ready for dialogue, but this is a lie. What kind of dialogue is this? They tie our hands, cut off our tongues, and then say that they're ready to talk. This is not a dialogue. This is a terrorist who feels strength in himself and is ruthless to human life, the head of state believes. In a new interview, Zelensky stressed that for 3 years he had repeatedly tried to hold direct negotiations with the president of the Russian Federation in order to prevent a full-scale war, but the Russian side avoided dialogue. Hi. Girkin admitted the inability of Russian MLRS to compete with HIMARS. The terrorist calls HIMARS a massive modern weapon which, first of all, surpasses the Smerch and Hurricane in terms of hit accuracy. The European Union has imposed new sanctions against the former president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych, and his eldest son Alexander. The sanctions document, published in the official journal of the EU, claims that the son of the ex-president of Ukraine continues to do business in the Donbass. Of course he does. Explosions are reported in Kharkiv. There is a threat of shelling in the city. Pre-arranged special operation and public execution of Ukrainian prisoners of war took place in Olenivka, according to Lubinets. During a live broadcast of the Freedom Marathon on UA TV channel, Verkhovna Rada Commissioner for Human Rights Dmytro Lubinets noted that the Amnesty International report is manipulative and plays along with Russia and its propagandists. According to Lubinets, the protection of the Ukrainian armed forces of settlements from occupation by Russian troops allows them to evacuate and help the civilian population. Evening address of Volodymyr Zelensky. A meeting of the staff of the Supreme Commander-in-Chief was held today. Minister of Defense of Ukraine Alexei Reznikov reported on the current supply of troops with equipment and ammunition. Head of State Committee Zaluzhny, head of SBU Maluk, Minister of Internal Affairs Monastyrsky also reported. They analyzed the situation in the most acute areas of the front, in particular in the Donetsk region. Particular attention was paid to the state of implementation of the previous decisions of Stavka. All of them must be implemented 100%. Glory to Ukraine. 1 second. Yes, Carlos, it's the support but things that really get to me as well, because what the heck? And it's so not, if you support something, you have no buts. All right, so artillery strikes in the Saltovsky and industrial districts of Kharkiv. Pavlovo Pola district is under heavy shelling. Mayor of Kharkiv, Igor Terehov. Amnesty International Secretary General Agnes Kalamard reacted in a peculiar way to the scandal with today's post about the fact of the armed forces of Ukraine allegedly create military bases allegedly on the territory of civilian objects. Ukrainian and Russian social media mobs and trolls. Today, they are all attacking Amnesty International. This is called war propaganda and disinformation. This will not dent our impartiality and won't change the facts, she wrote. At the same time, the Ukrainian Office of Amnesty International denies its participation in the preparation of the report of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. The Ukrainian office did not participate either in the preparation of dissemination of this information. According to the rules of the organization, during armed conflicts and wars, only the Crisis Response Department is responsible for documenting violations and crimes. Amnesty International Ukraine speaker Katarina Miteva said in a comment to Hromadske TV. So clearly there is something very fishy going on. The armed forces of Ukraine demilitarized 2 ammunition depots, 4 bases, and 1 headquarters of Russia in a day. Tomorrow morning, 2 vessels are expected to leave the port of Chernomorsk, as well as 1 vessel from the port of Odessa. Minister of Infrastructure Alexander Kubrakov, and that is the grain and corn. The large square of Pavlovo Pola was shelled in Kharkiv. The mayor of the city, Igor Terehov. Residential buildings, educational institutions were damaged. Rescuers find unexploded warheads. Windows were broken in many apartments. There is information about fragments that hit in the apartments of the townspeople. Pavlovo Pola is an area where there is no military infrastructure. There is another act of destruction of Kharkivites and their intimidation. Kharkiv has been shelled every day for months now. Russia is not included in the top 10 trade partners of China. Briefly about how strong China sees Russia as an economic partner. Well, China for Russia is in first place in the ranking of suppliers of goods. Russia for China is not even in the top 10. NATO members are working with defense companies to increase arms supplies to Ukraine. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg in an interview with Reuters. Nikopol was shelled. Next package of assistance to Ukraine, which will include drones and vans. Previously, Japan has already donated body armor, helmets, protective masks, chemical protection suits, drones, and more. The air raid alert has been declared almost throughout the country and it is expanding to the western part. In the southern direction, the armed forces of Ukraine destroyed 4 S-300 anti-aircraft missile systems. Also, a bit of beauty before going to bed. Astronomers showed the space nebula Cat's Eye in detail. The nebula formed when a sun-like star ejected its outer layers of gas. The resulting object has a bizarre shape. Yeah, the grain exports are happening. Hi, Not a Butter. Yeah, very beautiful. And it's a nice thing to see as the last piece of news that I have for today. Right? Very pretty. So I think this is it for today, guys. Thank you. I just got them done recently. I need to go to sleep because we were in the car all day. I got them done in Richmond, Virginia. I accidentally got to a really nice nail artist. It's they're tagged on my Instagram. Oh wait, James sent me something. In the Russian McDonald's, which changed its name to Vkusna и точка, everything ceased to be controlled. The quality of food rules, and today there was a fight. So I'm gonna show you this, and then I'm going to go to bed. Oh, congrats on your new apartment. Those are people fighting in the kitchen, by the way. Bon appetit. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna go to bed because it's time. And I also, there's Cindy. Oh, you should see Cindy right now. She is high rice or high risk. But good night, guys. How did my mom learn Ukrainian? She's from Ukraine. I just did a whole news thing, beat TikTok about Ukraine. Thank you, Pamela. Thank you guys for being here. If you missed the news, they are available on my YouTube. They're going to be there always. And if you ever miss a newscast or you're late, you can just go to YouTube and start watching it from the beginning. YouTube is the same as this. It's also linked to my profile, and you can see it. It's linked to my TikTok profile, and you can click on the little play button that's right underneath my profile picture. So yeah, so you can watch them on YouTube, and you will see everything that happened today. Yeah, Cindy's definitely cuddling with mom. All right. Thank you, Gab. Good night. Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava. And good night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. I will turn off YouTube now, and then I will turn off TikTok. Right? So I'm going to end the broadcast